This is what's pissing me off today. I'm Bob Pritchard. Well, recently I had a reason to rejoin Rogers as a customer. We had some issues with our Wi-Fi signal at various hockey games for the Spirit and decided that we would use one of our own devices to hook up to the internet, a 5G modem. Anyway, it was I thought, supposed to be a fairly straightforward situation. I had used one years ago before the pandemic to get our signal to the transmitter when it was up in the clock tower. At any rate, I was speaking to Rogers and said, well, I have the modem already, so I just need a SIM card. And then they told me that I could get a brand new upgraded modem from Rogers with newer technology than the one I had at no cost to me whatsoever. And well, better, newer, why not do it? So, okay, they sent me a SIM card for my existing one because we needed to have the modem right away. So while we were waiting for the new modem to arrive, we used the old modem. At any rate, when we got the new modem, we had some situational problems trying to get the dumb thing to turn on. Anyway, they ended up sending me another modem, which we were able to successfully connect to the internet and move forward from that point. We thought, well, this is all pretty straightforward. The people at Rogers were keenly aware that we had an account, that we were simply upgrading the modem on that account. Well, it didn't turn out that way. First thing that we ran into was I had to wait 2.5 hours on hold with customer service. Not because they couldn't find out what to do, it's because that's how long you had to wait on hold to speak to anybody. So anyway, we went through the entire situation and I'd got some things fixed up on the modem and we're ready to rock and roll. And I explained to them that this was an upgrade and not a second modem, et cetera, and everybody understood. Then I got the bill. Turns out that they put in two modems, two accounts. So my bill had doubled up. Well, that's not right, so I phoned back. Another 2.5 hours on hold, and by this time I'm becoming an expert on being on hold with Rogers. Make sure the phone's plugged in, bring something else to do, kind of hope that nobody really wants to get a hold of me for 2.5 hours because I'm on hold and don't want to lose my place. Well, anyway, I got a call back from Rogers customer service last weekend, and they, pointed out to me that they had a problem with my account because apparently I had two accounts and double billed, and when I had earlier contacted Rogers customer support, they were running a credit through, and they just couldn't understand that. So we went through the whole process about how this was an upgraded modem to an existing account, and I was told it was okay, except that the modem that didn't work was also listed on the account. Whoa, this is a huge problem for customer service to sort out. So at the end of the discussion, I was told it was, working properly. And I said, well, look, just make sure you have disconnected the modem we're not using and not the one that we are using. And oh, no, we have this all under control. So anyway, yesterday I was speaking to Chris about the hockey broadcast, and I asked him to check the modem, and the modem was not working. So anyway, Rogers had disconnected the wrong modem. So I get myself back on queue with customer service, and 90 minutes into being on hold, I got a call from Rogers customer support. And I think, well, that's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So I put the call on hold into the call that I was receiving. Then the first thing the Rogers agent complained about was the fact that they had to listen to the Rogers on hold music. At any rate, we figured that one out pretty quickly. And then I asked why they were calling. Well, they had reviewed my bill and decided that I wasn't entitled to a credit because, well, the modem had been used, the one that they were giving me the credit for. And I said, no, we only have one working modem, and we need to get the one that isn't used getting the credit. So anyway, 45 minutes later, they finally understood what had happened. How dumb can people be? How does Rogers even stay in business with service like that? At any rate, I haven't got my next bill in yet, and a whole bunch of promises of credits for being nasty to me. At the end of the day, I'm really hoping this thing works out, but man, oh man, if I could work with anybody else on the planet by them, I'd be doing that. And that's what's pissing me off today. I'm Bob Pritchard.